Hey everyone! When you're working with Oracle Integration Cloud, or OIC, one of the first big decisions you have to make is all about timing. Seriously, it sets the whole rhythm for how your data is going to move. So today, we're going to break down the two main patterns you'll run into: app-driven versus scheduled orchestration. Let's dive right in.
Let's just boil this down to something super simple. Think about it. Do you need to know something right now, like the instant it happens? Or is getting a summary at the end of the day totally fine? That's really the core question here, and your answer is going to point you to exactly the right integration pattern you need.
So this big choice really comes down to two flavors. On one hand, you've got the real-time, gotta-have-it-now approach. We're talking pure speed, right? Just like this lightning bolt. And then, on the other hand, you've got the wait-for-it, batch approach that runs on a schedule, like clockwork. Let's take a look at how each of these actually works in practice.
All right, first up, the need for speed. We're talking about app-driven orchestration. This is the pattern for all those things that they just can't wait.
So what does that actually mean? Well, an app-driven orchestration is all about on-demand action. It doesn't have its own schedule, it's not proactive, it just sits there waiting for something else, an external event to tell it to go. So an application makes a request and bam, the integration just fires up instantly. A great way to think about this is like a cash register at a store, right? When you go to pay, that transaction has to happen immediately. They can't just save it up and run it later. It's got to be processed right then and there. App-driven integrations are exactly like that. They handle one thing, one transaction, right away. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does it work? Well, the trigger is always something from the outside, an application, an API call. And the data it handles? It's transactional, meaning it's built for small individual records, not huge batches. And of course, the execution is in real time. It's all about that instant feedback, that immediate response.
Okay, a perfect real-world example is online order processing. So you go online, you click buy. That action immediately kicks off an OIC integration. What does it do? It instantly updates the inventory system. The key thing here is that there's zero delay. Your data is always perfectly in sync across all your systems right in that moment.
Okay, so let's flip the script. What if you don't need that instant reaction? What if it's actually smarter, more efficient to just wait and process a whole bunch of stuff at once? Well, that, my friends, brings us to our second pattern, scheduled orchestration.
Yeah, this one is pretty much the polar opposite of what we just talked about. It's designed specifically for bulk processing that happens at very specific set times. So instead of waiting for an outside call, it has its own internal alarm clock. You just tell it when to run, like, say, every night at 2 a.m., and it just wakes up on its own and gets the job done. The best analogy I've heard for this is a nightly delivery truck, right? The truck doesn't leave the warehouse every single time one little package shows up. That would be crazy inefficient. No, it waits. It collects all the packages that came in during the day, and then it moves this massive volume all at once. It's all about being super efficient when you're dealing with a lot of stuff. So what are its key features? Well, the trigger is that internal OIC scheduler we mentioned. The data flow is all about batches. We're talking huge files, maybe millions of records at a time. And the execution? It's always asynchronous. That just means it runs in the background and can take its sweet time if it needs to. We could be talking minutes or even hours. A classic case for this is end-of-day financial reconciliation. Think about it. For a daily report, you don't need to process every single sale the second it happens. That's overkill. Instead, you can just have a scheduled job kick off at 2 in the morning, grab all of yesterday's financial transactions, and move all that data in one big chunk to your reporting system. This is so much more efficient. And this is a big one. It doesn't slow down your main systems when your actual customers are using them during the day.
All right, so we've met our two main players. Now it's time to put them right next to each other and see how they really stack up. This is the head-to-head showdown.
When it comes to app-driven, the name of the game is latency. And we are talking seconds, sometimes even milliseconds. It's just blazing fast. But then you look at scheduled integrations, and latency could be minutes or hours. And you know what? That's not a mistake. That's by design. It's a feature, not a bug. The goal here isn't speed, it's throughput, how much you can get done at once. Okay, this table really lays it all out for us. Let's just walk through it. First up, integration style. You got it, real-time versus batch. Then, who kicks it off? An external application for app-driven versus OIC's own internal scheduler. Now, look at data volume. App-driven is for low to medium amounts. Scheduled, that's your heavy hitter. built for massive volumes. We just talked about latency, right? The difference is huge. And finally, this one's important, the synchronous option. That's the ability to send a response right back to the thing that called it. That's a big yes for app-driven, but not something scheduled is designed for.
So now that we've seen them side by side, the million-dollar question is, how do you actually choose? Which one is right for your project? Let's build a little decision framework to make it easy.
And the answer, maybe not surprisingly, is it depends. It completely depends on what you're trying to do. There's no such thing as a best pattern here. There's only the pattern that's the best fit for your specific business problem.
Really, it all boils down to this one simple trade-off. Are you trying to maximize immediate responsiveness, or are you trying to maximize efficiency when you're dealing with a ton of data? That's the fundamental choice you've got to make.
So here's the rule of thumb. Go with the app-driven pattern when that need for right now is non-negotiable. If you're processing single transactions that have to update something instantly, or if you're building an API that other systems need to call whenever they want, app-driven is your go-to.
And on the flip side, you're going to choose the scheduled pattern whenever you're dealing with data in bulk. We're talking large files, massive extracts from a database, or anything that needs to happen on a timer, like end-of-day reports or end-of-month summaries. It's the clear winner when you want to be smart about your system resources and just chew through a huge amount of data as efficiently as possible.
And that really brings us to the final and maybe most important point. Look, this isn't just some abstract technical choice. Picking the wrong pattern has real-world business consequences. I mean, imagine using a scheduled pattern for online orders. Your customer might be waiting hours for a confirmation email. Or what if you tried to use an app-driven pattern to move a massive file? You could literally bring your whole system to a grinding halt. So the question I'll leave you with is this. What's the real business cost if you get this decision wrong? Something to really think about. Thanks for joining me.